Hey there, horror fans. I'm your host, Douglas, here at Drown Boy Productions, and you're watching the 31 Days of Trick or Treat. If you're new to the 31 Days of Trick or Treat, every single day for 31 days, starting on Halloween, ending December the 1st, we're taking a look at a different product by Trick or Treat Studios. For the first week, we mostly took a look at new age slasher type products. Then this week, we took a look at some Trick or Treat items for the first 2 days. However, today we're taking a bit of a dive backwards into a classic. And if you're wondering why my hair still looks a little bit wet, that's because I just got done taking a dip in the Black Lagoon. Even though my collection is mostly slasher-based, and I guess more specifically mostly Scream-based, I do have a love for all types of monsters, especially the Universal monsters. I'm sure many of you feel the same way, but these have a very, very special place in my heart. These are movies that I watched with my family. Of course, they weren't the gory slasher gross-out films, which I was also into at the time, but they enjoyed these movies because it was more of a fun classic monster film. The Creature from the Black Lagoon is one of the movies that actually got me interested in swimming in the first place. And I remember being a preschooler, very young, and thinking, if man in water can turn into fish, then maybe if I stay in the pool long enough, I'll turn into a fish. And needless to say, I didn't grow any gills, so I'm still here with you land dwellers. But amongst all the different Universal monsters, the Creature from the Black Lagoon has to be my favorite. This is one of the most iconic monster designs of all time, of course famously miscredited for many, many years, but the original makeup for the suit used in the film was designed by Millicent Patrick. There's actually a book about the whole thing, which I suggest all of you go read. But this particular one was made by Russ Lukich. Of course, Don Post released different versions of the creature throughout the years, and all of those were awesome, including they did do a version that was from the original movie molds. But even the ones that were custom sculpted, and even like the very, very thin, like terrible thin latex versions of those masks look really, really cool in my opinion. But what we have here is not a thin, terribly painted pull. This is a modern-day recreation of the creature, of course, by Trick or Treat Studios. So let's just address the elephant in the room. This is a big mask, a very large mask. It is oversized even if you have a large head, so I think nobody's going to have any problems with fitting this thing, unless it's just too big for you, in which case you can kind of pad out the inside of it. But these things are awesome. This is one of the coolest deluxe masks that Trick or Treat Studios offers, in my opinion. And as far as masks that are pretty much perfect right off the shelf or right out of the factory, this is them. This is them, buddy. This is one of the best ones in my opinion. It just looks so damn good. I looked at catalog images of these for years and thought about getting one and thought about getting one. And then this year, I finally got to see one in person and I was blown away. I almost grabbed one in stores, but kept putting it off, and eventually I just went ahead and ordered one directly from Trick or Treat Studios. I'll give you guys a quick 360 look. As far as the likeness, I think it is pretty darn close. It is a very, very good sculpt, and I actually was not sure if this was made off of a Don Post version prior. Nice, thick, sturdy latex, and in the back here, along the fin, they actually did stitch in, so these are sewn in, some Velcro straps to help hide that seam, which is really, really nice. Whether you're putting it on display or you're wearing it, I think you'll find that to be a great feature. Then as far as the paint, I mean, it's not a very complicated paint job. This thing is based out in green and then dry brushed in gold. And that gold really, really makes the green pop, and also it just gives it a really, really cool effect when you see it in person. The lips here are, of course, like the darker red color. Not too much to say detail-wise there. The eyes, I do believe that they actually updated something with these eyes recently. If I recall correctly, for a few months at least, when these first came out, they just had like the straight green color around the eyes, whereas now they have like a darker bluish green, so they have a bit of a different color. And then there's a lot of gold in the eye itself as well as around the eye, and that is one of the coolest features to me. The eyes on these look absolutely amazing. This is by far one of my favorite Trick or Treat Studios masks that I've taken a look at so far in this series, and just in general, one of my favorite Trick or Treat Studios masks. Don Post versions of the creature are pretty hard to come by, and they are pretty much on par with this, I believe. Yet again, I have not seen any of those in person, but for this price, this thing is phenomenal. Not too long ago, I decided that I had to have a Universal Monster tattooed on me somewhere, and of course, I chose the creature, and my friend Gavin did that tattoo, and absolutely knocked it out of the park. That's actually currently my favorite tattoo that I have, and I'm thinking about maybe extending that water around and adding Jaws on the other side. Alright everyone, so now we're at the part of the video where I read the excerpt from the Trick or Treat Studios website, so let's go ahead and dive in. Sculpted by Russ Lukich, Trick or Treat Studios and Universal Studios are proud to present the official Universal Classic Monsters Creature from the Black Lagoon mask. Russ Lukich restored a copy of the original land creature to bring you this incredible creature from the Black Lagoon mask. Every detail of the Gillman is present in this amazing mask. You'll swear that the creature jumped off the screen and onto your head. So order your Universal Monsters Creature from the Black Lagoon mask today and terrorize the nearest body of water for candy this Halloween. Wow, I didn't know that this was actually made off of an original. I knew that the likeness looked pretty much spot on, but I had no clue that it was made off of an original. I wonder if Russ sculpted it just looking at one side by side, or if he actually casted it off of a restored original. Either way, this is for sure one of the best mass-produced looking creature masks, and for $60 only, this thing is phenomenal. If you guys are interested in picking one of these up yourself, you can get it directly from Trick or Treat Studios, or you can order it from one of the plethora of retailers that they work with. After getting this one, I'm thinking about maybe getting one or two other Universal Monsters to display alongside him, but if this is the only Universal Monster I could have in my collection, this is for sure the one that I would want. But I guess that's a fun question. For those of you watching, who is your favorite Universal Monster and why? Obviously, you know mine's the creature. I think it's the coolest by far, but I see that different people like different monsters for different reasons. Some people like them because they're more monster-esque. Some people like them because they're more human. Either way, hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and I hope you've enjoyed all the other videos in the 31 Days of Trick or Treat event so far. I love you all, thank you for watching, and see you next time.